Hey everyone, welcome to In the Know. My name is Reeves, and this is a Reeves story. Just take the safe part of the decision making out of the equation. If you're doing a decision because you think it's safe, then it may not be the right decision. The safe decision was I was already in the military. I was already going to a ship. But I had always told myself when I got into undergrad, when I got into graduate school, I wanted to get a doctorate. And I always said I wanted to make sure I did it before I was 30 so I could have all my degrees out my way. Everything I'd asked for, I could hope for. I applied for law schools. I took the LSAT, I took the prep course, took the LSAT. I got admitted to law school. Not only did I get admitted to law school, I got admitted to law school that I wanted to go to. And now it's a choice. Now, this is crazy. I didn't know how the hell I was going to pay for law school. I didn't have student loans, of course, but the reality is I didn't have any I didn't apply for any scholarship because I did this so late that when it presented itself, I was like, oh crap, what do I do? Oh my gosh. But in hindsight, it ended up being the best decision. And so what I ended up doing was probably about a day or two after my mom and I had our conversation, I took a deep breath and I let the Navy know that I was going to be resigning my commission so I could go to law school. And I could tell you those words were terrifying because here's the problem. It's a good problem, but here's the problem. The reality is that I knew what I had in the Navy. That was safe. That was predictable. I knew what I was going to get from doing that. However, the reality was I had no plans for the future with regards to law school. It was funny. So what ended up happening was I turned away from the known and went to the unknown. Let me tell you something. Those few months before I got out of the military, so what ended up happening was I had to be in law school by a certain time in August. So when I resigned my commission, I had to tell them a day when it was going to be my last day in the military. So I literally resigned my commission, and I think if I remember correctly, I was in until like the middle of August. So it was just a surreal thing, and it was sad for me. It was sad for me because I had so wanted to be on active duty and so badly wanted to be an officer in the military that when I got it, I could not believe that I was going to walk away from that. I really couldn't. I really couldn't. And I can remember because I ended up, because I was renting a house, if I remember correctly, I was renting a house and moved. And what ended up happening was my girlfriend, which is now my wife, her aunt, she was staying with her aunt. Her aunt let me stay at their place for like a week or two. Like I think I was there for like 2 weeks before I had to go to Florida. And so they were nice enough. They repacked my car for me. They, gave me some food and everything so I could roll out. It was a wild thing to be in that particular situation. And when I got in the car to drive away to get off the base, took the decal off my car so it no longer was there, it was frightening. It was frightening because I knew I was going to come back because, my girlfriend was there, so I knew I was going to come back. But it was this wild thing where I had always wanted to do something and then I had the opportunity, but this other opportunity presented itself. And I will tell you, everything that's happened after me being an attorney has been a great adventure. I don't regret it at all. I often sometimes wonder what life would have been had I followed that path. But let me tell you, it was wild to go from being an active duty officer with a set salary, with a whole bunch of bonuses, with all kinds of security, to loading up your car and going on the road and being a struggling college student again at 28, trying to figure out how the heck you're gonna pay for food. But I didn't look at it like that. In my mind, I looked at it as, this is something I always said I wanted to do. In my mind, I had convinced myself that by pursuing this route, this would open the doors for me in so many different ways, and it has. So if you come to me and you say, did making your decision to do the change, did that end up working out for you? Absolutely. It opened a lot of doors, whether it be professional relationships, personal relationships, or opportunities that I never would have envisioned. The people I've represented, the places I've gone, the courts I've appeared in, the opportunities that presented themselves. I'm not sure if those things would have presented themselves. I'm pretty sure there'd have been other opportunities along the way, but not quite like this. So I say all this to tell you, if you are in one of those positions where you have what I call a good problem, where you have an opportunity to pivot or change, sometimes you just need to take a step back and take a hardcore look at whether or not You're trying to hold on to one path because it is the safe path as opposed to the right path. Sometimes you're not going to know what options or what things are going to happen, because let's be clear. If you stay on a safe route, you don't know what opportunities will present themselves. You may get great things, you may not. Just like if you change and pivot, you don't know if there's going to be great things or not. I can tell you, when I decided to go to law school, I didn't know what kind of lawyer I was going to be. I did not know if I ever wanted to become a judge. I didn't know if I ever wanted to open up my own law firm. I didn't know if I ever wanted to be a professor. I didn't know if I ever wanted to teach. I didn't know if I ever wanted to work in politics. I didn't know if I ever wanted to work in court. I didn't know if I wanted to do corporate clients. I didn't know if I wanted to do entertainment clients. I didn't know any of those things, and I ended up doing them all. And I can tell you, it was a fascinating ride, and it's still a ride to this day. But I say this to tell you this. You're going to be presented with so many times in your life where you're going to say to yourself, maybe it's time for a change. Maybe it's time for a pivot. And you're going to be in that position where you're going to have two things in your hand, the devil you know and the devil you don't. And let's not look at it like that. Let's look at it as, if it's a choice between what you know and what you know on one hand, and what you have the potential to being able to know on the other hand, in the words of my mother, whatever decision you make it that's best for you, but always remember, make sure it's the right decision, not the safe one. And that's Reeves' story. And you've been checking out In the Know with Tony Reeves. Look forward to seeing you next time.